I recently read a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but he said forgiveness is not an occasional habit. It is a permanent attitude. We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to live. We've done a couple studies here, recordings at the Powerhouse. One is Defender, and we've talked a lot about God's protection, and it is something that we continually see as we live life and as we deal with people, more specifically those who allow themselves to be used by the enemy. And during this year, I have seen some things that just made me want to laugh. And why laugh? Well, because, the enemy just doesn't really know when to quit. I remember being in the South, and there were some flies trying to interrupt our little gathering on this old-fashioned porch. And we didn't have mint juleps or anything like that, but I did have this huge can of bug spray. And this fly, we shooed the fly away, and he kept coming back. Finally, I just sat there with this can of insecticide in my hand, and the fly sat on the opposite side of this porch and finally decided, I'm going to buzz over there and bug these people. And the fly came right towards us, and I hit him with a shot from that can of bug spray. And he tried to get away, but he dropped, and that was the end of him. Well, I laughed because that's kind of how the enemy operates. He just keeps coming and coming and coming at you. But if you have the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, hidden in your heart, then that Word comes into your life, and it just takes care of whatever's coming against you. So I had a situation where there were some people who not only were they were trying to generate strife with other people by using my name in a negative or derogatory sense, trying to get other people to look at me in disfavor. And of course, my natural human reaction was to want to punch them in the nose or crack their skull or even say something. But I came to receive the Word of God, thanks to Brother and Sister Copeland. It took a look at the fact that if we get into strife with people, if we don't walk in love, then we run the risk of messing up our own blessings from God because of His love for us. But He puts conditions on everything. There are conditions on salvation. You have to believe in your heart and confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. And when it comes to our blessings, we have to walk in love, or else the blessings that would come to us might be hindered. I like what it says to husbands. Husbands, treat your wives well, I'm paraphrasing, so that your prayers may not be hindered. Now that's an important thing to keep in mind, that if we do not treat each other properly, our prayers could be hindered. Now that's tough, but it's true that if you don't act properly. Now, I guess what we're leading towards is a concept of strife, because strife is like a fire, and it can burn up things that you've built. Specifically, it can destroy the power of God's blessings in your life, because again, faith is what activates God's work in our lives. And if we try to handle things on our own, what we're saying in effect is that we don't believe in God's power to protect us. So one thing I have to do, and I try to visualize this, I try to visualize God's throne. I don't know what it looks like. I've read Isaiah's description, but I visualize God on this throne, and I visualize taking these things and just putting them before His throne and saying, Lord, I refuse to deal with my emotions about these people or my feelings or what they're doing. This fight is not mine, it's yours. Here you go, Lord. I'm leaving it before your throne. I'm trusting you. Take care of it. But the Bible tells us that strife is something we need to avoid. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 12. Hatred stirs up strifes, but love covers a multitude of sins. So let's get away from strife. Let's not be the angry man in Proverbs 29:22, who stirs up strife, and the angry man who abounds in transgression. No, let's put strife aside, knowing that God is our defender, He is the one who protects us. And let's not even talk in a negative way about anyone. Remember what the apostle said, that the tongue, or James that is like a flame of fire. No, we want to not set things on fire. We want to extinguish fires of hatred by walking in love. So when these situations come into your life, don't try to fight people. Leave it in God's hands. Pray and put it before the throne of God and leave it alone. God will take care of you. You can trust Him. And then concentrate on walking in love towards those who do things against you. Walk in love when people come against you in strife. Avoid strife. Walk in love.